get the footage of Alex's intervention as a teenager?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
It was a total reenactment. That was me as Alex There's a well-known Canadian documentarian by the name of Alan King, who recently passed away. He did a film called Come On Children, where he basically auditioned several hundred Canadian teenagers back in the 60s. And he just wanted to document them going away to a house in the countryside in Ontario. Kids who were struggling sort of coming of age and dealing with parents and dealing with school and the pressures of life. And of all people, Alex Lifeson auditioned to be a part of this film, and he was accepted. And once we discovered that Alex had appeared in this documentary, we were like, gold mine, because we saw it, and it was just incredible footage, and we knew that we wanted to be part of a documentary because we wanted to chronicle their early years and their upbringing and what it was like for them to be teenagers. And we asked Alan King and their office, and they said as long as Alex is okay with it being in the film, you guys can use it. And Alex said sure. He was a little uncomfortable at times, but he let us go with it. So that's where it comes from. It's pretty amazing footage.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Yes, we have a question right here.
Was it difficult to get them to agree to allow you to do your film?
Our first film, Metal Headbanger's Journey, we did an interview with Getty for that film, and talking about the origins of heavy metal music and where it came from, and Blue Cheer was a huge influence on Rush. And he really liked what we did. So I suppose the short answer is actually no. We proposed the idea to them, and they trusted us to make the film, which was obviously a huge boost of confidence, but made us pretty nervous, and we lost a lot of hours of sleep wondering how we can tell the story. Band's been around for 40 years, and that we really like. So actually they were surprisingly, I think, trusting towards us in making the film about their career, which we hope they don't regret.
I can't believe they would. The confidence of the way the pieces put together, the way the story is told, the way that you've humanized everybody involved, and even Jack Black.
We know for sure that they don't regret it because they're very happy. And one thing I just saw Getty at the show in Toronto, and he said there's a lot more women at their shows than they've ever seen before because of the documentary. And he had like 2 shows ago, someone was holding up a sign in front of him saying, "You're my Perry Como."
I don't know if that's good news or bad news.
I guess the documentary's had some kind of effect.
It's impossible. Anyway, yes, question.
Is the video soon to be released? And is it on Blu-ray and special features? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's a funny thing because it's actually already released. It's already platinum in the U.S. Just to understand. It's 3 times platinum in Canada and platinum in the UK right now already, so it's doing okay. We haven't seen any checks yet, but it came out a couple months ago. It's going to be back on VH1 and Palladium are going to play it as well soon. And the DVD extras are about an hour and a half of extra stuff. The credit sequence that you saw, the dinner, there's about a 20-minute version of that dinner, which is hilarious. Those guys, we just put a camera on them and they had dinner for 3 hours and got very drunk. And then there's all this, we took a tour of their old, where we were trying to find the first place that they ever played, and then they got lost. And they go into some churches thinking this is where they played, and were convinced it's where they had played, and then, so there's a lot of funny stuff from the film.
Let's give you a question over here. We had a question over here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a right here in the center.
Yeah.
You're okay with me? Okay.
Hi, guys. I can't help noticing something kind of conspicuous about the two of you, that you're like a lot younger than I am. And I'm of the generation who went through major life changes to Rush music, not so much because I was a fan, but because all of the boys were fans. So my question for you is, what have you learned about my generation of rock and rollers through your work as filmmakers with Rush and with other bands?
These lights must be very good. When I was 6 years old, my brother was a huge Rush fan. So his room was down the hall from me, and he had Rush stenciled on the door of his room. I used to go into this smoky, strange room where there was like opium. It was like an opium den. And everything was orange, so I used to read Narnia books, and I would hear, Pharaoh and the Kings coming through. So it was very much part of my childhood. It was very connected. Growing up in Toronto, you can't get away from this. So it was always part. I think in Toronto, you get it a generation before maybe people got here. But what did I learn? I think there's just a lot of integrity about the music and this era of rock and roll. There was a lot of freedom that people had to experiment that people don't have in the same way, I think. Is that wrong, you think? I think that there's something that was very unique about this time when people were allowed to experiment musically.
I've learned you're the first female I've ever had a conversation with about Rush. So.
We haven't had a conversation yet, but I'll meet you after.
All right. And it's the first time you called young in several years. I was a nerdy 13-year-old kid in my bedroom in Victoria, BC in Canada, trying to learn the bass lines to the Via Strangiato, because I kind of wanted to be Geddy Lee, hence the hair. And I was unsuccessful. But I think what I learned about this band was that this band that had such musical integrity and chops and virtuosity and depth were a bunch of jokers in person. And ultimately, I think what we learned about this band was that it's friendship that's kept them together all these years. And I think a lot of bands, we've worked with Iron Maiden, we've interviewed a lot of rock and metal bands in the movies that we've done. And this is the first band where I really do feel that the friendship actually comes before the music, because Geddy and Alex, as they say at the beginning of the film, they were outsiders and they were friends first. And I think what we tried to do with this film is sort of unlock the code on what made this band have longevity. And I think ultimately it is their friendship that has kept them through it all the years. Because if they didn't have their friendship, they never would have survived what Ian went through. They never would have survived the keyboard era. Because I didn't. So I think that's what we learned, that they were friends first and bandmates second, which is pretty cool.
Is there a question in the balcony?